Hello team and welcome to another ATP Geopolitics breaking news smaller video that I'm going to do. I might not have time for the extra video tonight, but we'll see after this. Anyway, I thought I'd bring you some breaking news that's taken place across Russia today. This, I think, sums it up from Oryx. Chilling at my favourite spot where I usually write poems, contemplate life, or try to figure out how on earth Russia managed to lose 4 aircraft and helicopters today. Well, actually, if we're taking 2 days, it turns out that Russia have lost 5 aircraft over the last 2 days. One crashed yesterday, a Mi-28 crashed in Zhankoy in Crimea, killing both pilots. That's an airbase in northern Crimea. That I reported on yesterday, and then I caught one of these taking place at the end of my frontline video today, but it turns out that 3 more dropped off since then. So what has happened? Well, we'll go through a thread by Special Kherson Cat here that kind of sums it all up. So the helicopter reportedly crashed. This is the first one, crashed in Klintsy in Bryansk region. This is one I told you about earlier. Russia. Before the fall, it reportedly circled over the city for a long time. Then there was an explosion, and after that, it collapsed on a house in the private sector. So let's go and check that out. We'll check this video. That is it falling to the ground. Absolutely catastrophic there, and exploding in the background. And this is actually the one that seems to show that it was taken out by some kind of missile rather than the TASS, the state news agency really for Russia, said that there was an engine fire on board. Was it this video? I'm pretty sure it was. Maybe it's not. No, that's the one that we just miss it actually. There's a really similar one where you see it get hit, but not in that one. That took place in Bryansk. Yeah, so not too far from the Ukrainian border. You can see there the border with Belarus there, and here with Ukraine, and Bryansk city I think is somewhere up there. So it's about 40 kilometers from the front line. I'm sure there's another video of it actually getting hit. Yeah, here it is. So the helicopter was shot down by air defense. So this is the theory that it actually was taken out by Russian air defense rather than missiles. It's probably too far for missiles from Ukraine to take that out. So the most theories are it was missile from Russian air defense mistakenly taking out that aircraft. So then, well, the Russian emergency services said that helicopter crashed due to an engine fire. That's what TASS reported, and it clearly doesn't seem to be the case. I mean, the engine eventually was on fire, but that wasn't what downed it. It was an explosion from an air defense missile by the looks of it. So an unexpected turn of events. According to preliminary data, we are talking about the fall of 2 helicopters at once. One of them fell in Klintsy. This was the one I was just telling you about there. So in Klintsy, which is in Bryansk region, and then another one fell near the village of Turetsky, and that's according to the Russian media. Due to the fact that everything happened all at the same time, it can be difficult to get all the information right. But apparently, one of the downed targets in the Bryansk region was also a military fighter jet. Oh my goodness! So what is going on? The wreckage of one of the fallen objects, probably a helicopter. A red star is clearly visible on the wreckage, the hallmark of the Russian Air Force, and that's according to that video. Now, officially, a Su-34 has crashed in the Bryansk region, according to emergency services. As a result of the crash of the Mi-8 in the Bryansk region, 2 people died. That's according to the Russian media, and this is as it developed throughout the day. So, wow, the story doesn't end there. On the territory of Klintsovsky district of Bryansk region, the interception plan has been introduced. According to our information, they are looking for saboteurs who may be involved in the attack on the Mi-8 and Su-34, according to the Russian media. So now potential that this is saboteurs taking down these aircraft rather than an engine fire. Now the information regarding the interception plan is denied by other Russian media. The crew of the Su-34, which crashed in the village of Istrovka, died. The pilot and navigator were unable to eject. Their remains have already been found. The crash site has been cordoned off. PS, interestingly, it's not near the places where the crash sites were reported previously. So actually, so you got these two helicopters there, and then this is the site further down south, nearer to the Ukrainian border, is the site of the Su-34 crashing. And then we enter the category of unconfirmed rumors, and then we can talk about two Mi-8s, one Su-35 and one Su-34 in total. It's best to give a little time for this very vague event to finally clear up. So both Mi-8s fell over Klinsky. Okay, the Su-34 and the Su-35 crashed near the border near Starodub. Interception plan was deployed throughout the southwestern part of the Bryansk region, according to the Russian media. Why do you need an interception plan? Haven't you intercepted enough already? Says the source here. One of the Russian helicopters reportedly crashed near the village of Volkustichi. At the moment, a cordon has been set out around the crash site. So there's a bit of confusion over exactly where everything has happened. That is Starodub. They were talking about both jets crashing near there. So is that the site of a helicopter or a jet? We've got sort of confusing claims. And then as this is then retweeted, this is a retweet of Ukraine weapons tracker. One of the worst days ever for the Russian Air Force. Today, at least 4 aircraft, Su-34 strike jet, Su-35 fighter, and 2 Mi-8 helicopters were shot down by anti-air missiles over Bryansk Oblast within Russia. So far, it's unclear what kind of missiles were used. The idea is that all of these were taken down by anti-air missiles. Quite where they came from, whether they were all Russian, and whether indeed that was what happened, is still like as of yet unverified. Russian media then said the aircraft that crashed in the Bryansk region was shot down not from the territory of Russia. The armed forces of Ukraine attacked it from the Chernihiv region of Ukraine. PS, the distance from the Ukrainian border to the geolocated crash site of one of the Mi-8s is about 50 kilometers. And then it goes on to say not a single member of the crew of all of the 4 aircraft that crashed today in the Bryansk region survived. As reported by Russian media, 9 Russian military aviation personnel, as a result of the crashes of the 2 Mi-8, Su-34 and Su-35 in the Bryansk region, died. So it appears that both the helicopters were near Klinsky. This is the latest. Volkustichi is where the Su-35 was, fell out of the sky, should we say, and further down south near Nizhny is the Su-34, site of the Su-34. So you have had 5 aircraft falling in 2 days, and then various people were reporting on this. Michael McKay said at one point on May the 12th, they shot down one of their own Mi-8 helicopters in temporarily occupied Crimea, Ukraine. So he's saying that yesterday's Jankoi one was shot down by air defense as well. And on May the 13th, they shot down one of their own Su-34 strike aircraft in Bryansk. Of course, that is what the Russians will be surely denying, whether it happened or not. And then, as OSINT Defender confirms, all 4 pilots of these were killed in the explosion and or subsequent crashes. And then reports on that as well. So lots of different sources confirming that this has certainly happened. According to a channel affiliated with the Russian Air Force, one of the downed helicopters, I actually heard that possibly both of these was a military Mi-8 MTPR-1, a rare electronic warfare variant employed for jamming. It is equipped with a Reichstag AV airborne jamming stations. Jamming stations. So that is the report there, and I'm pretty sure both of those. Russian media says all 4 crew died, says this source, Yaroslav Trofimov. Also, Russian reports that the 2 choppers were not just Mi-8, but expensive Mi-8 MTPR-1 long-range electronic warfare systems that suppress enemy air defense radars. Didn't obviously work very well then. Russia operates only about 20 of these. Or I love that in the past tense, operated about 20 of these. 2 of those are now no longer in the service of the Russian Air Force. So that is a really significant day. I mean, as mentioned, this is the worst day for the VKS on record, probably since the Second World War or something. I don't know. Record keepers will know better than I do here, but a really significant day. And that's got to be embarrassing for the Russians, because either the Russians are shooting down their own aircraft in their own territory, and that's embarrassing, or the Ukrainians are able, or both, either or and or the Ukrainians are able to hit Russian aircraft within Russian territory, and that is, equally problematic, perhaps even more problematic. When you start to see aircraft in this range inside the Russian borders to the tune of 50 kilometers, then actually they would have to start rethinking how they use their air force. I would possibly side at the moment on it being unlikely to be Ukrainian air defenses, but it may be. If it is, that is truly massive. If it's not, then the Russians should be rightfully embarrassed. But they will, of course, blame it on the Ukrainians no matter what. But it's kind of no-win situation, because if they do blame that on the Ukrainians, then they have to admit that Ukrainians can shoot down Russian aircraft 50 kilometers back from the border. So it's not great either way. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you because it is really significant. It's a really significant outcome today. Anyway, I better go and see if I've got time to do the extra. Toodle bits. Speak later.